Good morning, students. Welcome to the class of Social Science. Today we are going to start with chapter number 15, Government. So now let's start with the first question, that who manages the family? As you all know that the house is being managed by the elder member in our family. Like for example, if you have grandpa or grandma at home, then you will follow all the instructions given by them, and the management is done at all levels by them. From financial to cultural base, every single thing is managed by them, and we follow them without any objections. And sometimes it may happen that if we are not agreed with them, then we have to face the consequences for the same, might be in terms of punishment. So in the same way, our country's management and administration is done by the government, and if we don't follow them, or like if we don't cooperate with them, then might be possible that we would face the consequences for the same in terms of punishment. Now the next question would come into your mind, that who manages the whole country, India? Yes, in India, as we discussed in the previous slide, the country is managed by the government, known as the Government of India. The formation of it came into existence as soon as we got freedom from British people on 15th of August 1947. They formed a republic with a constitution and laid it on 26th of Jan 1950. The constitution, which consists all kind of articles, rules and regulations for the smooth administration and management of the country, and which was written by Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, and it's the world's biggest constitution, and we are bound to follow it as being the citizen of India. We cannot object. Otherwise, you know that the police is there to serve us in a very good way and to make us follow the rules and regulations very strictly. Although we can say that being educated, we don't follow the guidelines given by the government. So for the same, they need to appoint police and its department for making us follow the rules and regulations strictly, so that the peace and security of the country can be maintained properly. Now, what is government? As we discussed about it in the previous slide, the government is an organization which is required by all the countries of the world for the smooth administration and management, and to make decision and to get things done. And it is just not on some sort of specific levels, but everywhere its presence is required. For example, where to build roads and schools, to manage the price of the commodity available in the market, the supply of electricity, water and gas. And as you all know and aware about the pandemic situation of COVID-19, so the government has to arrange the hospitals and medication facilities for the same, and to control the public regarding the situation, that they do not panic unnecessarily and don't take any wrong decision on individual basis. Even they have to work out on social issues, like to help people, those who belong to poor class, by managing food, education and medical emergency for the same. Even they have to manage the postal service, internet service, etc. Also, the transportation facilities like railways, buses, and air transport has to be managed by the government. Also, they are supposed to protect the national borders with the help of Indian Army, Indian Navy, and Indian Air Force to protect the country from other countries and regarding the terrorist activities, and to maintain the peaceful relations with the other countries. For example, you must be aware of the issue that we are facing because of China and Pakistan. Even they have to manage the food and medication supply for all the citizens of the country. As you would be aware how government helped the people by supplying enough quantity of food grains during the lockdown situation. Even when natural disasters take place, they have to manage the situation by organizing aid and assistance for the affected people with first aid facility and making them shift to a safe place, and to provide them with the food supply till the situation gets under control. Even the rules and regulations is maintained, and if anyone try to offend it, they would be found out in the court for the legal procedures. As you all know that court is also a part of Indian government, like district court, high court, and Supreme Court. Now you would be having a question in your mind that how do government can manage such a huge country with a population of almost around 140 crores. So let's know how do they work. As you know, when human beings live together and work together, there will be always a situation of conflicts. So there had to be someone to control the situation and to organize the situation and to take the decisions on their behalf so that the peace and harmony of the country can be maintained well. And for the same, they make some rules and regulations, and people are bound to follow them. For example, need to control the uses of the resources found out in the country, need to control the crime, look after the protection of the territory of the country so that the people can feel safe and secure. And the government do it on the behalf of people by exercising leadership, as the government is an organization selected by the people for themselves through election process. How is government elected? The government is elected through voting by all the adult citizens living in a country which are above 18 years. And for the same, they need election and Aadhaar card to verify that they are the citizens of India. Earlier it was done manually, but now the technology took place over the manual work, or you may say on manual voting. As you can see the voting machine in the first picture of Indian stamp. Now, from where we get various informations about the government. We get it through newspapers, magazines, periodicals, news on television, even on radio, even through the internet, over on our phone, and even sometimes through the mouth publicity, as if anyone knew about something and will come to you to gossip about the same. Now, what kind of government do we have in our country, India? Ours is a democratic government, means of the people, by the people, and for the people. Means the people of the country select their own government and leader to represent themselves on their behalf through voting, which we went through previously. I mean, the explanation of which has been done previously, how the voting process take place. And this type of government hold the foremost place. As you know, all that India is a very vast country with a population of almost 140 crores, with lots of diversity based on religion, states, languages, food, customs, traditions, culture, etc. So it is very difficult to manage it from one place. So it's being managed through different levels for the smooth management and administration against all the problems which take place in our country at different levels. And the most interesting fact about our country is that we have the world's largest democracy with a population of almost around 140 crores. Types of governance in Indian democracy. Local self-government at local level for village, taluka and city. State government for the state level, and central government or union government for the whole country, India, at central level. Have a look over this picture. You will get a clear idea that at the top, central government is there. At the second level comes the state government, and at the last, at bottom, comes the local self-government. Now, let's have an idea about the different types of government. Monarch government, communist government, and democratic government. Coming to the first, monarch government, here all kind of power is in the hand of king or queen. Like whatever they say or decide is the final decision, and the people have to follow it without any objection. And like in democracy, they don't have to give any such sort of an explanation regarding their decision. Like you see our Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi explaining all kind of decisions taken by him for the people. Like that, this people doesn't have to do that in their monarch government. Coming to the next, communist government. It is a kind of government where equality and similarity is given the main preference, so that the people of the country enjoy everything on equal basis. And it's being formed through election. But many of them formed it through election and ruled over it as a sole ruler for the longer period of time. For example, China and Vietnam. But now the situation is changed from communist to dictatorship, which is even more worse than the monarch government. As because the ruler do whatever he wish without giving a thought about the people living in their own country. They are not concerned about the people's happiness. Like for example, China and North Korea. The ruler of their country do whatever they wish. They don't think in public interest and make their people suffer like anything just being the superpower in the whole world. And you all know about China, the bio war they started with the spread of deadly disease or deadly virus of COVID-19, in which they even didn't give a thought to his own public that how they will manage to tackle it. Coming to the last, democracy, which is there in our country, India, which was formed after the independence from the British government. And the most amazing part here is that the power belongs to people. They have the total right to select the government as per their own choice, but through voting, and to select the representative who will represent them and the whole nation on their behalf. As because India is a vast country with a population of 140 crores. All cannot participate in all kind of decision making process. Otherwise, it will be a problematic situation. So they select their representative to do it on their behalf through the process of election. And in this process, all the adult people above 18 years can take part through their own wish. And even it is not compulsory to participate into into election. But being a responsible citizen of the country, you have to take part actively in the formation of a great nation like India. Have a look over the picture, you will have a clear idea about how democratic government work. Now, what is universal adult franchise? Previously, only small group of people were allowed to vote before independence under British rule. Thereafter, they came together, people came together to remove this kind of system along with Gandhiji, and they demanded that what they are practicing is unfair. All the adult citizens above 18 years need to have a right to cast a vote. And later, after the independence, the rule came into existence where all the adult citizens were allowed to vote, which was known as universal adult franchise. And the government can't be called as democratic unless it allows the universal adult franchise to be practiced in the country. Have a look over the picture, you will get a clear idea that all should have the equal right to cast a vote, those who are above 18 years. Government and laws. The government form laws, and all living in that country, all people living in that country are bound to follow it at any cost. Only then the government can function smoothly. For example, a rule is there that the person can't drive without driving license. Any person found driving vehicle without it will be fined by the traffic police and even can be jailed if the matter comes in front of them in terms of accident without driving license. Like this, many different kind of rules and regulations are there in different sector and at different levels, without which the government is useless and cannot perform its duties perfectly. This was just a sort of example to make you understand about the government law. But in case if the people of the country is not satisfied with the law or lawmaking, they can appeal for the change in the court. Like if any differentiation is done on the basis of caste or religion, like for example, if you apply for a job and even having the qualification and abilities, it's not being given to you by making the discrimination based on religion or caste. You can approach to the court and can file a case, and later court will give the orders about what should be done after listening to you. Have a look over the picture given there about the constitution, which was written by Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, a book of rules and regulations. The values of democracy. Government work to uplift the living standard of the people by working at different levels like local level, state level and at national level. And while working, they always keep the people and their needs at the center. They work and plan out the schemes keeping in mind the basic principles of equality, security and the convenience of all the citizens in our country, which is totally based on democracy. Like brotherhood, justice, equality of opportunity, freedom, respect for the dignity of the individual. Have a look over the picture. You will have an idea how the government work on the basis of Indian Constitution and keeping in mind the values of Constitution. That's all for today. Thanks and have a nice day ahead.